Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Ashley. I make wellness and personal development videos, and I'm so happy that you're here. So today we are doing a guide to 20-something. There are so many things that have happened or that I've learned in my 20s. I still have a lot of learning to go, and by no means do I know everything, but these are just some things that I learned and I wish that someone told me going into my 20s, so I thought I would share them with you. The first thing that I learned is everyone is not your friend. And as much as you want to be kind and be friendly with other people at work or just in social places, you have to learn that everyone is not your friend. And in order to do that, I think it would have been so helpful for me to know the difference or be able to decipher the difference between an acquaintance and a friend. So an acquaintance is just someone that you would, see at work every once in a while, say hi to, be friendly towards. A friend is someone that you would hang out with multiple times. You talk to them, you tell them about your personal life. There's someone that would stick up for you when you're not in the room, someone that has your back. An acquaintance is not someone that would do that for you. And I think coming into your 20s, it's hard to decipher those things, especially if you're graduating college or finishing up college and moving to a new place. You're looking and trying to make new friends. And as much as you want to have that friendship type dynamic, it's really easy to just jump from acquaintance to friend and just automatically think that someone is your friend, especially when you're actively looking to trying to make new friends. But you have to go slow. You have to understand that when you first meet someone, you need time to actually develop the relationship with them. You need the time to understand what type of person they are and look at their values and morals and what they respect versus what you respect, what they like doing versus what you like doing. Because although when you first meet them and you're all nice and you guys get along really well, you don't actually know someone until you hang out with them for the better part of a year or maybe even longer. Sometimes it feels like you can know someone a little less, and there are exceptions to every rule, but you need to take time to actually learn and get to know someone before you can tell if they're your friend or not. And I think in your 20s, when you move away from home and you're trying to spread your wings and go further in life and start your own life, it's really easy to get the line confused between acquaintance and friend. You want someone who you can actually develop the relationship with, and like I said before, you want someone that will stick up for you when you're not there, someone who will tell you when you're doing something wrong in a kind way and has the same thought process, morals, values as you. And it can take a while to find that, but I just wish that starting my 20s that I had someone to help me have a clear line between what an acquaintance and a friend is. So what I would recommend to trying to decipher that line is when you're hanging out with people, just go slow. Take the time to get to know someone, slowly start to hang out with them. But you have to see what type of decisions that they make. So when you're going to different places or put in different situations, look at the type of responses that they may say or how they react to certain things and see if that would match up with what you would do, or if it's something that you respect. And I feel like that's a good way to try to navigate if this person's going to be a good friend for you versus if they're not. Another thing that I wish that I had learned was that life is not a race. And I am still learning this one. I have not perfected it. Sometimes it still comes back to haunt me a little bit, but life is not a race. And I feel like it's so difficult because, especially with social media, because you're able to see so many different people's lives, and people at such young ages are doing these amazing things, and everyone is not like that. And I feel like it's so easy to be able to compare yourself to someone that's, we'll say, 23 and is traveling the world, and then you're 23, maybe just got your first job out of college and you're trying to figure out how to pay your rent. Like, that is really hard because in your head you're just like, well, why can't I do that? They're doing it. Why can't I do it? What am I not doing? And that, you need to stop thinking like that. You can't do that. That will just ruin your whole thought process, and it will just destroy your whole self-esteem. So it's important to remember that life is not a race and that everything will happen when it's supposed to happen on its own time. And I was watching a video the other day, and basically in the video, the person was telling a story that a kid had just graduated college at the age of 21, and they got a decent paying job right out of college, but then someone who waited a little bit later at the age of 25 started a Fortune 500 company. And those are both really great things to do, but just because the person at 21 got a really great job, like, that's wonderful, good for them. And then there's someone that's at 25 who waited a little bit later in life and started this Fortune 500 company, and now look at what they're doing. They're doing these great, amazing things. So it could have been easy for the person that was 25 at the age of 21 to be like, wow, like, look at this person, they have such a great job, and compare themselves and get down on themselves. But instead, they waited until it was their time. They kept working and kept doing what they wanted, and eventually started their own Fortune 500 company. And it can be really hard to watch someone else do the same thing that you're trying to do. But again, you just have to wait. You have to give it time and just wait for your time to come, because it will come. If you keep working and doing things that you're supposed to do, you will get there. Okay, this next one is a very big one for the girlies. I wish that growing up that someone would have told me that your body is going to change. Like, I knew that when I was 17 that my body was not going to stay that way forever, but I feel like it's not talked about enough. I feel like when you're 17, you're like, oh, okay, like, I just look fine, and you feel like if you work out and eat the right things that you'll just stay skinny. But that's not what happens. As you grow up, you get curvier, your shoulders get fuller, you have wider hips, and you gain weight in certain areas. And it's just hard because I feel like no one talks about that, which can make it so difficult. Because when those things start to happen, you're like, why am I gaining weight? Why is this happening? And then you think that if you work out or if you eat a certain way that you can lose weight. But you're not supposed to be 120 pounds forever. You're not supposed to be this skinny little girl. You're supposed to grow up and develop this womanly body. And it's difficult because no one says anything. No one says anything, which makes it so hard, because when these changes happen, you're just like, what is going on? But I just want you to know that it's normal. It's normal for you. It's normal for you to have these changes. It's normal for your body to develop. It's normal for you to have fuller hips and maybe gain some weight and have broader shoulders. And there's so many other things that your body is supposed to change at various times in your life. It's not only going to happen in your 20s. As you grow older, it's going to change again. But I just feel like it's important to know that it's normal for your body to change, and you're just going to have to be okay with the changes that your body is making, because this is the only body that you get, and you need to take care of it, and you need to love and accept it, because you're not going to want to walk around feeling like you don't like the way that you look the entire time. That will make your life so just not feeling good. So you just need to learn to accept the body that you have. This is the only one that you're going to get, and you just need to love it just the way that it is, and all the changes, and just embrace everything. The next thing that I learned while, being in my 20s is learning to be alone. After college, it's pretty easy to say like, oh, I'm alone, I'm doing great, because you just left college, so you're still in contact with a lot of your friends, you're still maintaining those friendships and things like that. But as time passes and people get more busy, those friendships can kind of fall off. Not always, but sometimes it does happen. And in that time in your life, it's important to recognize that you need to be able to spend time alone and love spending time by yourself. When you start to spend time alone, you really get to know who you are, and it's just so great because you are able to really decipher like what you like and what you don't like about yourself. I feel like when you're with other people, it's kind of hard to do that because you're influenced by what someone else is saying and or thinking. Or like if you're in a big group of people and someone says like, oh, like I don't like running, and just because you guys are friends, you're like, oh yeah, like I don't like running either, like we all like to go out and do brunch or something instead. But it's easy to be influenced when you're by a group of people. But when you are able to spend time alone, not only do you get to figure out the things that you like, it's time for you to explore new things too. So trying different hobbies such as like running, exercising, there's so many different hobbies that you could try, like literally crochet. I can't even name all of them, but it just gives you the time and the space, one, for your head to relax and really dive into something that you're interested in without being influenced by other people. And I think that you should cherish the time alone, because you're the person that you're going to spend the most time with in your whole life. Like, yes, someone else will come into your life eventually that you love and have great relationships with, but you are going to be with yourself forever. So you should really get to know who you are, and it'll help in other relationships too. Like when you go and try to get to know people and you're there asking like, oh, who are you? Like, what do you like? What do you don't like? And if you're not spending that time by yourself to figure that stuff out, how are you supposed to know what to say to the other person? How are they supposed to know what you like versus what you don't like if you don't even know those things yourself? So I just think that it's important to spend the time figuring that stuff out while you're young, instead of waiting until later. And the last piece of advice, or just thing that I learned when I was, why do I keep saying when I was 20? Like, I am still in my 20s, but these are just things that I've learned so far. But the last thing that I wanted to share is to dream big and shoot for the stars. Some people may, make fun of you, but that's always going to happen no matter what you do in your life. But when you're in your 20s, it's the only time really where you don't have that many responsibilities, and you're only responsible for yourself and taking care of only you for the most part. Like I said, there are exceptions to everything, but you're only responsible for yourself. So why not try different things? If you've been dreaming of opening a hair salon or some type of business, try it. And if it fails, oh well, you learned, and you can try again and again and again. Or if you want to travel the world or go do a long tour in Europe, you can try it. What's going to happen if you don't? You don't want to wait until 30 years down the road and be like, wow, I really wish that I did this thing. But in 30 years, you're also going to have all these bills, responsibilities, maybe some kids or something like that. You'll have other responsibilities and things that you have to worry about, and not just yourself. So I guess what I'm just trying to say is that when you're young and in your 20s, just take the leap. You just have to ignore what everyone else is going to think and or say, and just chase your dreams. You don't want to wait until way later and be like, oh, I wish that I did this. Do it now. Do it now. Don't wait. Have the courage and just take the leap. Okay, I don't think that video was too long, but those were just 5 things that I learned so far in my 20s, and I thought it would be fun to share with you guys. I would love to hear anything that you have learned in your 20s, or anything that you've learned in your life and just want to share. But if you've made it this far in the video, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!